Oh, don't tell me this just happened. This just happened. So I'm gonna have to fill time. So you guys will bear with me when I have to close my browser and reopen it again. I can't believe this just happened to me. You know what? Let me refresh it and see if it works. I was gonna open the show as I have been opening the show with a clip of Joe Biden completely lost. Let's see if it fixes itself. Last time I was able to get through this okay. People bore with me, but let me see. Let's try it. Play. Oh, that's gonna be every single video. Yep. I have to restart Chrome. So we'll let people tune in first. We'll let people say hi to Sumi. Hey, Sumi, you want to be on camera? Sumi. Hopefully she'll be around forever. She's got stuff coming out of her cooch and dripping on the. Did you want to hear about that? She needs to go to the vet. She might have some kind of infection or something. So anyway, my videos are not playing and this thing is hooked up to my thing. So I have to restart it. And I think when I do that, you lose contact with me. So it's just nothing can be done. I can see if. No, everything's not working. I just tried it out without you guys seeing it. So, hey guys, I have a poll up for is the NFL rigged? Some people say obviously rigged. Someone says it's sort of rigged. It's controlled by witchcraft. Okay, here I'm going to be live here. I'm live on Rockfin now. Okay, guys, you're going to have to give me a few seconds to reset. I have to log out of, I have to close Google Chrome and restart. So I'm going to do that right now. You ready? And 4, 3, 2. I'll try to come back as fast as possible. Here we go. Here we go. I have no idea if you can hear me now because everything is being reset. I will keep talking though, just to give you guys something to hear. Okay, here we're going to say. And I'm back. Did you guys hear me that whole time? Okay, I cut out. Yeah. How long was I gone for? A minute? You're still here. 43 people are still here. Now it's working again. Welcome back. Okay, now it's working as far as I can tell. So I was going to start out with a video of Joe Biden lost. Let's see if it plays. If it doesn't, then we'll just 1 minute Orwell today. That's not bad. Whew, stressful. Sometimes things don't work. This is Joe Biden.
Hey, yeah. We're gonna do the blessing over the offering, and then
Look
we're
at
going
his
to do the
eyes.
benediction. After which we're going to ask us to remember.
Gosh,
Hey, man.
he looks totally crazy. I have another clip of him. He even posted it, but other people were posted of him getting really angry. Hey, Sumi, you were already on camera. You helped me out before the delay. So we're all good. We're here. Weather's nice here in California. It's up to 71 degrees outside, which is really nice, but it's going to be bad weather again coming up soon. But that's okay. We're doing well here in California. How are you guys doing? Good? Do you guys not watch sports? I watched the game. I watched the Kansas City game. So I could tell you it did not appear rigged. People who were saying that the Super Bowl was going to be fixed were saying that it was going to be between Baltimore and San Francisco. And San Francisco won, but Baltimore lost. And there were a few big plays. So I'll show you. Anyway, a bunch of people are saying the NFL is rigged. I got my poll up. Okay, let me get back to being right on Rockfin. I have stuff I can play to you guys about. So I'm going to just go over all the posts about the NFL being rigged and Taylor Swift being an op, and also Taylor Swift being influential in this coming election. That's the big story, is people say she's going to support Joe Biden. Hey, thanks, Vogan Filter. You're awesome. Thanks for the $10 tip, man. I appreciate it. Everybody who sends money for the show, I really appreciate you. And everybody who buys our t-shirts too, I really appreciate you. And if you want to get t-shirts, I'm looking at services that will liquidate us. So we might get out of the t-shirt business. So now's the time to stock up. You may not be able to. I told you it was limited. That's at truthclothing.io. All our shirts. Yeah, we're looking, especially cryptocurrency shirts. I'm looking at services that do full liquidation. You see the stock over here. You can see it's stocked up over here. And when the camera zooms out, you can see all kinds of shirts around here. And this show isn't as huge as it used to be. We used to sell like 4 shirts a show or something like that. Were you here for the good times? All right, let me get into the news. I showed Joe Biden. I'll show another clip of Joe Biden. I'll show you all of the things calling this thing an op. Do you think it's a Taylor Swift op? Media loves the Swift twofer, somebody says. I actually did listen to Taylor Swift's music, unironically. Some of it I actually like. Believe it or not, I think she's actually a very talented musical artist. But there's the poll. Wow, 84% of people say the NFL is rigged. While they say that's a conspiracy theory, especially when Vivek Ramaswamy says he even chimed in on it this time. So, hey, Blue Fly, what's up? Orwell today says, so rigged. There's no, Taylor Swift is a psyop. How is Taylor Swift a psyop? You can tell me in the chat. How is Taylor Swift a psyop? Her music is good pop music. Controversially, I say that. It's good pop music, like Justin Bieber or what have you. You guys ever listen to popular music? I listen to it. I listen to it from time to time. Yeah, and actually Taylor Swift is good. When I had it, I won't even tell you that. We'll keep that one to ourselves. All right, let me play the intro and then we'll get started, okay? Thanks for tuning into the show. Thanks for supporting the show. I really appreciate you. Thanks for the early super chat. Vogan Filter, love you. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. Yes, the real news. So speaking of pop music, do you know that the number one song on iTunes right now is featuring Ben Shapiro rapping? Did you want to hear that song with Tom McDonald, who you might have heard of? Tom McDonald did a song called Fact, and he has on a shirt that says, I don't care if I offend you. And it's featuring Ben Shapiro, who talked about how he's got wads of cash in his pockets. Have you seen it yet? I'll show it to you. I should be able to show it. I'll show it up through the part where Ben Shapiro raps. How about that? Yeah, you haven't seen it yet? Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, that's a good way to start. It's not a bad song, as far as music goes. I mean, it's not amazing or anything, but it's not bad. Here, let me show you. So this is the song called Facts featuring Ben Shapiro.
They call me offensive, controversial. It's only two genders, boys and girls. They can't cancel my message because I'm the biggest independent rapper in the whole freaking world. Claim that I'm racist, yeah, right. I'm not ashamed because I'm white. If every Caucasian's a bigot, I guess every Muslim's a terrorist. Every liberal is right. I don't want to talk to folks who don't get it. Go woke, go broke, no hope, it's pathetic. Pro-choice, pronouns, pro-love, you're progressive. But you ain't pro-gun, no one to protect it. Where the American flags at? Remember when people would hang those? They've been taken down, they all been replaced with BLM flags or a rainbow. This ain't rap, this ain't money, cars and clothes. We ain't selling drugs, we ain't gonna overdose. We ain't pushing guns, ain't promoting.
You ready?
Pose. We won't turn your sons into thugs or your daughters into hoes. I don't care if I offend you. I was put here to upset you. You can cry and you can scream, you can riot in the streets, you defunded the police. Now there's no one to protect you. I hope I offend you.
I think it's coming up.
Let's just keep it real, facts. Don't care how you feel, man. If you want my pronouns, I'm the man who don't respect.
Let's look at the stats. I've got the facts. My money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat. Homie, I'm epic. Don't be a whack. Dog, it's a yarmulke, homie, no cap. Look at the graphs. Look at my charts. You're blowing money on strippers and cars. You go into prison, I'm on television. Dogs, no one knows who you are. Keep hating on me on the internet. My comment section all woke Karens. And I make racks off compound interest. Y'all live with your parents. Nikki, take some notes. I just did this for fun. All my people download this. Let's get a Billboard #1.
This ain't rap.
There you go. Good enough. What do you guys think? Thumbs up? Thumbs down? Let me know in the chat. He says his pockets are like Lizzo. I bet Tom McDonald wrote the rap for him. He says, homie, no, I think he said no cap. That's Generation Z talk. So anyway, yeah, that's the new song. Top of the charts. Top of the charts. So she's trying to start beef with like Nicki Minaj. All right, let's see. All right, let's go to more clips of Joe Biden acting crazy. He actually posted this himself, even though other people posted it to make fun of him for having crazy mad guy dementia. Let's see here. The early reviews are coming in. Say he sounded like AI. Katie says, yeah, it sounded like AI. Michelle says, of course, he'll talk about having money. No, is that are you being anti-Semitic with that? People say cringe, 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 pretty cringe. Yeah, it's cringe. Number one songs can be cringe. I would play you guys some Taylor Swift. So you haven't heard her music, but that's all right. We're not going to get into that today. All right. She is dating Travis Kelce, who is a good receiver. He had a good game. Touchdown, like 11 catches. He actually passed Jerry Rice's postseason record for catches during the game. So let me show you Joe Biden having his dementia moment where he gets really angry.
Donald Trump, when he was commander in chief, refused to visit a cemetery, U.S. cemetery outside of Paris for fallen American soldiers. And he referred to those heroes, and I quote, as suckers and losers. He actually said that.
Oh, my God.
He said that. How dare he say that? How dare he talk about my son and all of us best like that? Look, I call them patriots and heroes. The only loser I see is Donald Trump.
There you
Donald
go.
Trump.
Do you see this part where he says, "How dare he talk about my son?" I mean, he needs subtitles because otherwise you wouldn't know what he was saying. It's like when he was at the beer factory. He said, "Oh, Great Lakes." Rah, 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 rah. Here, this part is where he gets
He
unintelligible.
said that. How dare he talk about my son and all of us just like that? Look.
How dare he talk about my son and all those like that? And they said he said all those lost like that. So anyway, that's people say that's a hoax, that Donald Trump never said that. All right, here we go. Taylor Swift. Yeah, I thought I was having like, oh man, I can't tell you. I was listening to some Taylor Swift though when I was kind of crazy. And I was like, oh, she's good. But she's on the cover of every magazine right now. As you can see here, I'll show you. This is End Wokeness, who says what's happening with Taylor Swift is not organic and natural. It's an op. We all feel it. We all know it. There's the magazine covers. It is crazy when every magazine has you on the cover. And she's not that. Oh, that's an interesting shot. I see. And there she is with Travis Kelce, who now, like I said, he broke Jerry Rice's record for most catches in the postseason. So he is a tight end. I'll play you his Pfizer commercial. I was watching the game. It was on Paramount Plus, I believe. Yeah, Paramount Plus streaming. I watched the game. And at one point I saw 2 Travis Kelce commercials in a row. I can't even tell you what they were for, but I saw 2. He was in 2 commercials in a row. So anyway, here is his ad for Pfizer. This was his Pfizer commercial.
Travis, did you know you can get this season's COVID-19 shot when you get your flu shot?
Oh, 2 things at once.
2 things at once. 2 things at once.
I'll have the 2 things at once, please.
Now back to 2 things at once.
2 things at once.
That's not 2 things at once.
Mom.
Travis, ask about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
There you go. That was brought to you by something called Blux, but that was him promoting the Pfizer vaccine. So brought to you by Pfizer. So yeah, apparently I started seeing him come up in my Twitter feed, and then he announced the relationship with Taylor Swift. And they say they really like each other. We should be happy for them. I mean, if they have a real relationship, that's a good thing. So people are all saying that the game is fixed. I'll show you that. Here's Jack Posobiec saying it's fixed. Jack Poso has thinking about when Taylor Swift called out the Soros family in 2019 for buying the rights to her music, and then how she came out a super liberal in 2020. So yeah, in 2020, she supported Biden. Vivek replied, he said, I wonder who's going to win the Super Bowl next month. And I wonder if there's a major presidential endorsement coming from an artificially, culturally propped up couple this fall. Just some wild speculation over here. Let's see how it ages over the next 8 months. Well, are they artificially propped up? I mean, Travis Kelce, he scored a touchdown. He passed Jerry Rice's receptions record in the postseason. He's awesome at football, it seems. He's got great hands. And he scores a lot. I don't know. And then she is a best-selling music artist, the most popular music artist of her generation. So is it artificially propped up? People say it's being pushed in our face. But if you listen to pop music, I don't know. You guys decide. I'm like a Swiftie, right? So don't want to say anything else. But is it artificially propped up? Well, here's Jack Lombardi II. Says, I've never been more convinced that the Super Bowl is rigged. With all the unneeded and unwanted Taylor coverage at the games, Casey's journey to the Super Bowl totally scripted. Next, Travis and Taylor together at the Super Bowl, appearing happy and in love. Then Kansas City wins, and then later announcing their support for Biden. Coincidental? No. Bought and paid for couple. SMH. Bookmark this post, he says. So if Kansas City wins in the Super Bowl, which is probably in a couple weeks, 2 weeks, then everybody's going to say it was rigged. I'll show you some of the referee calls that people are saying. The New York Post put Travis and Taylor on the cover of their newspaper above the 3 service members getting killed in a drone attack, which I'll also cover in today's news. So they actually put her above soldiers being killed in Jordan, and Joe Biden saying we shall respond. So there you go. They said that news. Yeah, Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, huh? Sickening, nauseating. Katie, my wife, said that I should have called it the nauseating Taylor Swift op. But check this out. The New York Times wrote an article today saying inside Biden's anti-Trump battle plan and where Taylor Swift fits in. So here she is going to be on the side of Democrats, people are alleging. Watching Donald Trump ascend, the newly energized Biden campaign is aiming to make the general election all about him. It's also hoping for some big endorsements. The biggest and most influential endorsement target is Ms. Swift, 34, the pop sensation and NFL enthusiast who can move millions of supporters with an Instagram post or a mid-concert aside. She endorsed Biden in 2020, and last year a single Instagram post of hers led to 35,000 new voter registrations. Fundraising appeals from Ms. Swift could be worth millions of dollars for Mr. Biden. Governor Gavin Newsom of California, a top Biden surrogate, all but begged Ms. Swift to become more involved in Mr. Biden's campaign when he spoke to reporters after a Republican primary debate in September. Quote, Taylor Swift stands tall and unique, unquote, he said. Quote, what she was able to accomplish just getting young people activated to consider that they have a voice and that they should have a choice in the next election, I think is profoundly powerful, unquote. The chatter around Ms. Swift and the potential of reaching her 279 million. Wow, that's a lot. Instagram followers. Reached such intensity that the Biden team urged applicants in a job posting for a social media position not to describe their Taylor Swift strategy. The campaign had enough suggestions already. One idea that has been tossed around a bit in jest is sending the president to a stop on her Eras tour. You know how expensive tickets were? I mean, it shows people say she's been put in our face. If you go by ticket prices, there are just thousands and thousands of dollars to be able to get a ticket to see Taylor Swift on her tour. I think the tour is over now. Not sure. So here, check this out. Daily Mail says Taylor Swift could sway 2024 election outcome. New poll finds with a fifth of voters likely to back candidate endorsed by singer. That's a headline from Daily Mail Online. So a fifth of voters. I would suggest that those people wouldn't be likely to vote for Trump in the first place, but who knows? Susan Wojcicki says, former CEO of YouTube, says, just another talentless, artificially boosted puppet like Lady Gaga, etc. Lady Gaga is not untalented. Neither of them are, truthfully. They make music that's popular, that people like. And she writes songs. I think she writes her own songs. And her voice is not auto-tuned, I don't believe, in her music. So I appreciate what you're saying, though, Susan Wojcicki. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Treva Long. Appreciate you. I rang the bell for you. Thank you for that. Every super chat goes a long way, even if it's just $2. I appreciate that. Here's what the Baltimore Sun ran today. Opinion piece. Okay. I know when I ring the bell, you get excited. Forget Kamala Harris. Put Taylor Swift on Joe Biden's ticket. That's an opinion piece from the Baltimore Sun. Okay. And then, okay, let's see if there's anything else on Taylor before I get to something else. Okay. So that's it with Taylor Swift. Let me look up, if you go NFL rigged, which everybody is saying it is. Cyrus says she is auto-tuned. Doesn't sound auto-tuned. I listen to a lot of music. Kanye West, when he sings, he's definitely auto-tuned. A lot of people are auto-tuned. It probably, maybe it is a little bit, but she can sing. She can sing. It's not like Madonna or something. Madonna can't sing. Or Britney Spears, she can't sing either. It's different than that. But what am I doing here? Why am I defending Taylor Swift when everybody else says no? Okay, here's somebody who says, look at these plays and tell me the NFL isn't rigged. These are some of the plays where the refs didn't make a call. Okay, so here's one.
Just watched it on the screen here, and there. Crowd just watched it.
So they wanted a pass interference call for that one. Here's another one. Yeah, defensive holding. Those are calls that weren't made. And here's another one. That one where the interception happened in the end zone. I don't know. I think they're all right. No calls. But this person says 2 missed pass interference calls that would have turned the game around. So there you go. The refs could have something to do with it. So here's something else that says the game is rigged.
Call that could determine the whole game right here.
Sneed,
There.
It's out.
who has played as at the highest level this entire.
There's a shot at the fumble at the end zone. I mean, that's not rigged. That'd be impossible to rig. I think that's what this person is saying. Benny Johnson says the NFL is rigged. Give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt. Wall Street Apes says, is the NFL rigged? Once again, tell me the NFL isn't scripted. 33. There's 33. All right. All right. So that's all the news about that. Okay. So we got the, there was a drone. So the results of the poll are that everything is rigged. The results of the poll, let me see. 87%. Geez. 87% says it's rigged. 87%. If you think it's rigged, how do you think they rig it? With the refs or the players are somehow involved too? Football is it's a game of inches, like that fumble you just saw. How can they rig it? How can they, when everybody seems to be playing as hard as they can? How can they rig it? Don't know. All right. So we had a drone attack. All right. So that's it. That's it for the Taylor Swift news. I'm closing it out. We're closing all the tabs that have to do with Taylor Swift and the NFL being rigged right now. So drone hit, killed 3 soldiers, injured like 25 plus. And they say it was confusion. They say the enemy drone that hit the U.S. base in Jordan was possibly confused with an American drone that was coming back to the base. The working theory about how an enemy drone slipped past defenses at a U.S. base in Jordan is that an American personnel mistook the enemy drone for one of their own returning from a surveillance mission. I think it might have been a suicide drone. One U.S. official confirmed that the enemy attack drone approached the base at a low altitude and hit a housing area at the Tower 22 base. The attack on Sunday by Iran-backed militants killed 3 American service members and wounded at least 34 others, with Joe Biden warning that the strike will be met with American retaliation as Iran denied involvement. So Iran is denying involvement. The usual suspects, Senator John Cornyn, said we need to strike Tehran. So we're close. You know, I could have called this World War III. People are always talking about how we're getting onto World War III. World War III, Civil War, war with Russia, war with China, war with Iran, war with Texas. That's the meme today. Is Joe Biden presiding over all the red buttons that say war with China, war with Russia, war with Iran, war with Texas. And he's sweating and wiping his brow, trying to decide which button to push. Senator John Cornyn says target Tehran. Lindsey Graham, who's never met a war, who's always saying that. I mean, he would say this regardless. It's Monday, so, you know, Lindsey Graham is saying we need to target Iran. He says hit Iran now, hit them hard. And okay, I have that. I think that's all the news I have about it. Iran denied it, says the accusations are baseless. Iran's foreign minister says the accusations against us are baseless and are a conspiracy by those who have an interest in dragging America into a battle in the region. We reiterate our emphasis on the importance of maintaining peace and stability in the region. We believe that the ceasefire in Gaza will pave the way for the return of calm to the region. We have repeatedly warned of the danger of expanding the circle of conflict due to the continued Israeli attacks on Gaza. Americans' violations of Iraqi and Syrian sovereignty and its attacks on Yemen have exacerbated the state of instability. Well, that's true. We have been attacking Yemen. So, where there are Iran-backed Houthis. I might have COVID coming on. I'm starting to feel it. Katie went to a conference. One of her coworkers has COVID. She's a little sick. Now I'm starting to feel it a little bit. So pray for me. You never know. All right. So there's that. I think that's all the news about Iran. Oh, President Trump issued a statement. I should read that to you too. This is a statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States. The drone attack on a U.S. military installation in Jordan, killing 3 American service members and wounding many more, marks a horrible day for America. My most profound sympathies go to the families of the brave service members we have lost. I ask all Americans to join me in praying for those who have been wounded. The brazen attack on the United States is yet another horrific and tragic consequence of Joe Biden's weakness and surrender. 3 years ago, Iran was weak, broke, and totally under control. Thanks to my maximum pressure policy, the Iranian regime could barely scrape $2 together to fund their terrorist proxies. Then Joe Biden came in and gave Iran billions of dollars, which the regime has used to spread bloodshed and carnage throughout the Middle East. This attack would never have happened if I was president, not even a chance. Just like the Iranian-backed Hamas attack on Israel would never have happened. The war in Ukraine would never have happened. And we would right now have peace throughout the world. Instead, we are on the brink of World War III. This terrible day is yet more proof that we need an immediate return to peace through strength, so that there will be no more chaos, no more destruction, and no more loss of precious American lives. Our country cannot survive with Joe Biden as commander in chief. So that's, I mean, it's something to say. It's easy to say when you're not, it's easier when you're not the president to say that you would have world peace if you were president and nothing bad would have happened. Like all that bad stuff would have never happened if Trump was president. So I think Nikki Haley responded to it. She's calling for strikes on Iran. So let me show you that. Nikki Haley. This is her calling for strikes on Iran.
mean in practice? When you say Biden didn't do something, what was that something that he should have been doing?
The very first strike that hit, you punch and you punch back hard. What they should be doing is going after every ounce of production of those missiles. Wherever those missiles are, you take that out. You keep doing, you take out the training sites. You go and you.
But does that risk escalating a war?
Does that mean striking Iran directly?
It means striking the resources that are allowing them to hurt our troops. That's what you're doing. It's not going after
they're backed by Iran. Iran says that they're not declaring the shots, but Iran's training them. They're providing intelligence. They're providing weapons.
And this goes
there
back.
would be no Hamas without Iran, Hezbollah without Iran, or Houthis without Iran.
But
yes, you're going.
Iran is a really big escalation. And
you go after wherever those missiles are, the production, wherever it is in Iraq and Syria, you take that out. Wherever it is in Lebanon that they're doing that, you take that out. You go after the leaders making the decisions. It's not after Iran, the country. It's after the people who are making these decisions. When Soleimani was assassinated, it sent a chill up their spine. They literally, it took their breath out. You have to be strategic. It's not starting war. It's actually preventing war.
Assassinating people, which I think is one of the worst things that Donald Trump did. I don't think we should be going around assassinating people like the Mossad does, but that's Nikki Haley calling for strikes against Houthis, strikes against Iran. So we are closer to World War III. We have all kinds of conflicts around the world. We have the war in Ukraine. We have the war in Israel and Gaza. So, and she wants to expand it. We already are hitting targets in Yemen. We're already hitting Houthi targets. So we're already doing some of the things that she wants. Susan Wojcicki says 0 wars under Trump. Were there 0 wars? I see a comment I can't show. All right. So that's Nikki Haley. All right. Now, Mark Cuban made a statement today about hiring, which got fact-checked by the U.S. government about hiring for diversity. And he got fact-checked by an American official. Mark Cuban says, I've never hired anyone based exclusively on race, gender, or religion. I only hire the person that will put my business in the best position to succeed. And yes, race and gender can be part of the equation. I view diversity as a competitive advantage. Andrea R. Lucas of the EEOC said, EEOC commissioner here, unfortunately, you're dead wrong on black letter Title VII law. As a general rule, race, sex can't even be a motivating factor, nor a plus factor, tiebreaker, or tipping point. It's important employers understand the ground rules here. So I'm applying for work right now, and I am afraid of being discriminated against as a white male. And then they ask you as part of the application process what your race is and gender and stuff. And even on this one application I did, I won't tell you the company, but it's a big one. They wanted to know how many times in my previous job I pushed for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I was like, what? They actually asked that question. How many times on your previous job did you push for diversity, equity, and inclusion? So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully I can find work. I have a little bit of a criminal record right now. That's my difficulty. That's why I really appreciate any money I get for doing this show. And I really appreciate you guys. But I was thinking, well, that's diverse, right? It's not that bad, but anyway. So yeah, they ask crazy questions. She says she told Mark Cuban he was wrong. Says that race and sex you're not even supposed to consider it in hiring. So thanks, John, for posting that. Mimsy said, did I lie? No, I didn't lie. I could have said I was Hispanic because you can say you're white, but Hispanic, but I didn't say that. No, I didn't lie. I felt very uncomfortable answering the question, though. It didn't feel like it should be part of the hiring process for them to ask me that question, what my race and gender was. So, and they didn't have an option for, well, I don't know. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if I get a job. And then you guys will miss me when I'm gone. Do you want to hear a rebuttal of the E. Jean Carroll case, a long one? Because I have that. I have a very long rebuttal of the E. Jean Carroll case from, this is interesting. Okay. Ilhan Omar gave a speech in Somalian, which I won't play, but I'll say, well, because it's in a different language. This is it. My answer to Somalians was that the U.S. government will only do what Somalians in the U.S. tell them to do. They will do what we want and nothing else. They must follow our orders, and that is how we will safeguard the interests of Somalia. We Somalians must have that confidence in ourselves that we call the shots in the U.S. This is Ilhan Omar, who is a U.S. representative. We live in the U.S., pay taxes in the U.S., and have a real voice. The U.S. is a country where one of your daughters, myself, is in Congress to represent your interest. For as long as I am in the U.S. Congress, Somalia will never be in danger. Its waters will not be stolen by Ethiopian, let's see what it says, or others, Ethiopia or others. The U.S. would not dare to support anyone against Somalia to steal our land or oceans. Sleep in comfort knowing I am here to protect the interests of Somalia from inside the U.S. system. The woman myself you sent to Congress is working day and night to protect your interest. She knows your plight and that of Somalia. I am as concerned about Somalia as you guys are. That's what she said. Together, we will protect the interests of Somalia, not the United States. So, all right. All right. So we had the E. Jean Kelly case, which I'll just summarize what Viva Frey said about it because it's 12 minutes long. Oh, unless you guys want, I can play it actually. I'll play it and play around in the chat. So the E. Jean Carroll verdict, Viva Frey says, is pure bullshit. Well, he was found guilty before the trial started. It's just like the Alex Jones trial. So it's just like the Alex Jones trial. He was found guilty before the trial even started. And then because he said that he wasn't guilty, that was viewed as defamation. So let me play some of this.
All right, I wasn't going to do a vlog today, but the news broke. The verdict in the E. Jean Carroll second defamation case. If anybody thinks this is justice, you are idiots, pure and simple. If anybody likes this just because of the political consequences, you are scoundrels, pure and simple. E. Jean Carroll, the woman who is, in my humble view, batshit crazy, names her cat after a venereal disease, vagina T fireball, fabricates a story out of whole cloth that occurred 2.5 decades ago, has no physical evidence of it, says that she would not file charges for the assault because when you listen to her justification, it's going to blow your mind and you're going to realize you're dealing with a crazy person.
Would you consider bringing a rape charge against Donald Trump for this? Why not?
I would find it disrespectful to the women who are down on the border, who are being raped around the clock down there. But for the women down there, and for the women actually around the world.
Says she's not going to file criminal charges, but sues Donald Trump civilly in New York, possibly one of the most corrupt jurisdictions in the world, wins in the first trial, and then sues for defamation in the second trial because Trump took to Truth Social to post how she's crazy, how he never met her before, how the story is a total lie, and she sues him for defamation again. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, after the first jury found that Trump did not rape her in the Bergdorf changing room 2.5 decades ago, but sexually assaulted her such that when he denied it, it was defamation and awarded her damages for the alleged assault and the defamation. And then she sued him a second time when he continued to deny it and protest his innocence. They had a trial. And when I say that the mainstream media is the enemy of the people, it's only because they are the enemy of the people. He had a trial in which the guilt was already a foregone conclusion, and quite literally the trial was only to adjudicate on how much he would have to pay her, and that amount came down today. But before we get there, NBC News was reporting that Trump testified. And he testified briefly. The headline reads, Trump testifies briefly in the trial. And then it's only when you go into the article and read why he testified briefly that you realize the system is corrupt, the media is corrupt, and they are the enemy of the people. He testified briefly because the judge largely restricted what Trump could say in his own defense in court. So you head into a trial in which your guilt is already determined, only to adjudicate on the damage, in which you are limited in what you can say in your own defense, in which the judge literally says you cannot say certain things, include protesting your innocence, and then you come down with a jury verdict. And oh my goodness, watching a journalist from NBC News in real time, waiting for the news, announcing the news with orgiastic glee, like the winning lottery numbers of this political lottery just came down, and she's reading it in real time. $83.3 million awarded to batshit crazy E. Jean Carroll. I think it's like $7.5 million compensatory damage.
All right. So there you go. I won't play all of it because you're here to tune into my show, but I thought I'd play some of it. How much did I play? Like 3 minutes? All right. So E. Jean Carroll, what is she going to do with the 83 million? Well, it's going to be appealed. But here are some of the things E. Jean Carroll says. Let's see.
The elation was so great on Friday. It filled me up. It was almost painful. It's taken really every day. Today, I'm just very happy because I'm calm enough to realize what she did.
It's been reported the exchange smiles with the jurors on the way out. Is that true?
Yes.
What was that like?
Well, it's very moving. It made me burst into tears because they met my eyes for the first time. It's very moving.
You said you want to do great things with this $83 million settlement. Give us an idea about that.
Don't want to waste money. Well, I do have an idea. I like to give the money to something Donald Trump hates. If it will cause him pain for me to give money to certain things, that's my intent. Well, perhaps a fund for the women who have been sexually assaulted by Donald Trump.
Are you confident?
There you go. So that's one thing she says she's going to do. Some people say she's drunk. She appears drunk. She's crazy. She came forward with a story based on a Law and Order SVU plot line of someone being raped in a Bergdorf changing room, and then had no proof. Somehow Trump was found guilty. And then he said he wasn't guilty. And because he said he wasn't guilty, he has to pay $83.3 million, they say. So here's another interview with E. Jean Carroll.
You've said that when you've actually faced the man, he's just a man with no clothes on.
Yeah.
It's the people around him that are giving him the power. What do you mean by that?
Well, Hans Christian Andersen's great fairy tale, The Emperor Has No Clothes, that is written about Donald Trump. It's just, we're the ones who clothe him in all this power. He has none himself. It's his followers. It's his hangers on. In the court, they were strutting back and forth and handing him messages. It was, right, Robbie?
Ms. Carroll, you say nothing. You say the emperor has no clothes. The emperor is trying to run for president again.
And right now is leading.
And right now, the polls suggest it's a coin flip. It's very close. Have you heard from Joe Biden's campaign arm about potentially campaigning against the former president, Donald Trump?
No.
Are you interested in doing so?
Do anything I can.
That's a yes.
What was it?
You've said that
she says she'll do anything she can to beat Donald Trump. Okay. Nikki Haley said she agreed with the verdict.
The jury has now ruled. They have found him liable of sexual abuse. Do you not trust the jury and their findings, Ambassador?
I absolutely trust the jury. And I think that they made their decision based on the evidence. I just don't think that should take him off the ballot. I think the American people will take him off the ballot. I think that's the best way to go forward, is not let him play the victim, let him play the loser. That's what we want him to do at the end of the day.
There you go.
Just to be
There's Nikki Haley, says she agrees with the verdict. It was a crazy verdict, just like Viva Frey said. So Trump has been offered, the Republican National Committee has said they want to make him their presumptive nominee. And he says that he would like it to go forward the old-fashioned way at the ballot box. So he wants to win the election the old-fashioned way. By the way, you can contribute to the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. I'll read those coffees. I just checked them. I don't have any this show, but I did have one last show from someone. Someone bought a coffee without leaving a note. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. Boy, I might have COVID. I'm starting to feel it a little bit. Like I'm starting to wear out. So, okay, let me play you guys video of Tucker Carlson asking about assisted suicides in Canada. Okay, I'll play you that video. I definitely want to check in with the chat. Someone said that oh, Psy Girl says you're going to unsub. Thank you. Please unsub. COVID is, you can actually get COVID. It's possible. You're not going to die from it probably, but yeah, go ahead and unsub, Psy Girl. I've seen you around. You've been around for a long time. I think some things are real. People can get sick. It's possible. So thanks, Psy Girl, for that. If you're talking about me, I sound like MSM. All right, that's fine. I appreciate it. Let me play you this thing of Tucker Carlson, okay?
If you're killing 50,000 of your citizens, if the government is doing that through the MAID program, and a lot of them are not actually terminally ill, they're just sad, and the government is encouraging them to submit to being killed by the government, and then we'll release the recent statistics. Like, what is that? What is that? Yeah, it's genocide. That's exactly what it is. It's killing large groups of people. And who are those people? Well, we don't know, because your government hasn't released the stat. What percentage of those were born in Canada? I bet right around 100%. So if you're a government, you have the duty to your citizens, people who are from here, people whose ancestors built the place, not exclusively to them, but primarily to them, to your citizens. Like, why else do you exist except to serve your citizens? And if you're targeting your citizens, how many people who arrived in Canada in the last 10 years have opted into the MAID program? I don't know the answer. I bet around 0. That's all people who are from here. And now the government brags, oh, we're saving money because they died. That's the darkest thing I can imagine. I bet there's zero conversation about that in this country, because I know this country and I know what it's like. It's too horrible. No one wants to talk about it. You should talk about it. But more than anything, you should internalize the message of that, which is they hate me. They hate me to the point they're willing to kill me, which they are. And the third thing is, notice the erosion of your most basic civil liberties, not the ones granted to you by the crown, but the ones granted to you by God. And those would include the freedom of speech, which is inalienable. It cannot be taken from you no matter who is in Ottawa. Your rights remain the same because you were born with them, because you are not a slave, you're a human being. You have inherent dignity because God made you. That's just a fact. And if they're taking those rights away piecemeal and doing so in the name of public safety, even as they make the public sphere much more dangerous, which they have, in case you haven't noticed. Canada has a lot more violent crime now than it did 20 years ago. Have you noticed? Of course you have. You live here. And they're telling you can't defend yourself against that crime. We're going to disarm you. You can't protect your life or your family. And you're like, oh yeah, it's for the public safety. It's just not a big deal. These are weapons of war and other weapons of self-defense, which you need and deserve as a free person, not a slave. And then they're telling you can't complain about it. And then they're subsidizing the media to the point where all of your big media outlets, which are disgusting, are state media because they're taking state cash. Do you watch CBC? I do, occasionally. I can turn in any hour of the day and I will learn that I'm racist for driving an SUV and not being trans. That's the whole schedule of the CBC program.
Yeah.
So if they're limiting your freedom to say what you think, which is freedom of conscience, the most basic of all freedom, your freedom to defend yourself and your family against bodily harm, which has got to be a twin to the first one. If if they're taking away your voting power by changing the population of your country, which they are doing, and no one wants to talk about that, Canada has the highest immigration rate in the world per capita.
I see people in the chat. Most people. I've diverted the show. The show is diverted into a conversation about COVID. That's fine. I don't know what it is. Look at my camera. Sometimes it zooms out unexpectedly. Here's the room full of clothes. So this is an advertisement for Truth Revolution clothing at truthclothing.io. Buy some clothes from me. Support the show. Appreciate it. And then I'll say whatever you want me to say. I'll say whatever you want me to say. COVID has never been isolated. COVID's not real, etc. That's fine too. It doesn't matter. I already got myself in trouble the first time with COVID because I took it too seriously. So the first time when I started covering it very early on. So yeah, I understand people. We have differing beliefs. So yeah, there was masks, social distancing. I agree. Those things were not scientifically sound. It's true. So I appreciate you guys. You guys are great. I appreciate you guys. I'm having flashbacks to covering COVID, and I'm wearing a mask too. Yeah, I wore a mask too. I did a lot of terrible things. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. All right, I'm going to get some rest. I think a little bit right now. I am going to and then I have some more stuff for you guys for tomorrow already. So thank you for tuning into the show. I really appreciate you guys. And oh, yeah, and I'll cover more news for you tomorrow. Thanks. There are a bunch of people tuned in. Appreciate you guys. And I will see you at the next one. All right. For now, that's what it is.